Indeed, I feel great honor speak with you, and particularly this university, very famous Bombay University. So I really feel great honor. And then also, I always feel very happy meeting with students. That means younger generation. And also to me, now this younger generation, whose age below 30, 20, you really, the generation of this century who can make new shape of this world. Time always moving. No force can stop time movement. But then only what we can do is utilize time properly. And then also, I think global level, the generation who belongs to the 21st century, you have the main sort of generation who have the responsibility to create better world. Past world, past sort of century, 20th century, of course, during that century, great achievements, you see, achieved in technological field and science. However, that century also becomes century of bloodshed, century of violence. And almost, I think, since Second World War, the constant fear, particularly in European continent, although apparently peace, but underneath constant fear. I myself noticed some occasion to visit in West Germany's border area. Even sometimes I spent one night, 2 nights on border area. I myself also used to sometimes feel, oh, if something happened tonight, I come from India, spend just a few days, something happened. Then almost as it came to, came to buy somewhere. I think came to bring some unnecessary sort of suffering. Really, constant sort of fear. All this, same human world, but because of technology, you see, the increased tremendous sort of destructive power. So sometimes I really feel this marvelous human intelligence, sometimes used for wrong purpose. So in any way, because we learned such sort of unhappy situation in the past century, now the younger generation, you must sort of have vision to create different world peace, world of peace, and the peace not come through sky or not come through paper, but peace must come through inner peace. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes these nuclear weapons acted as a deterrent In a way, it's brought some sort of superficial peace, but out of fear. That's not genuine peace. So genuine peace must come through inner peace. Now question is how to develop inner peace. Now this is the now question. Inner peace by medicine? No. Tranquilizer? Maybe short period. Or drugs? No. Then education can bring inner peace. Again, not very sure. Some of these real troublemaker, as far as their brain is concerned, very smart, very well educated, but use brain or education for destructive way. So I very much keen meet younger generation in different part of the world. So now here, indeed I feel very happy. Then when I meet Indian youth, Indian public, emotionally also I have a certain feeling. We Tibetan sort of civilization, actually, since Buddhism reached Tibet, then the whole Tibetan civilization, then much enriched and much developed. So one time, Morarji Desai, they took the prime ministership. As usual, I wrote letter for congratulation. And then in his reply, Morarji Desai, Morarji Babuji, mentioned Tibetan civilization and Indian are two branches of one Bodhi tree, same root. So I usually describe Indians as our guru. We are chela of Indian guru. So when I interact with Indian, sometimes I feel, I'm talking to you, which essentially we learned from you at the past almost more than 1,000 years. So I feel great honor. And then also Bombay, the heart of India, sort of economic capital or something. So very important. So University of Bombay, I really feel something very, very sacred in my mind. So I'm very happy this opportunity. Now, as I mentioned earlier, time always moving. And then the world, because of global warming, because of population increasing, and then also in a way, some political system, sometimes they also you see some causing problem. And then also in economy, gap, rich and poor. There is also very serious matter. Unfortunately, this country, India itself, the gap, rich and poor, still remain. And these, so our future, Nobody can take for granted something easy, something, without much problem. No. Problem bound to happen. Then here, in order to face sort of complicated world, we need two things, I believe. Firstly, education, in order to deal with problem. Our approach should be realistic approach. In order to implement realistic approach, any problem, firstly, we should have the fuller knowledge about the reality. Then our approach become realistic approach. Then we get satisfactory result. No matter how our goal is noble, but method use unrealistic method, you will not get the goal satisfactorily. So in order to carry a realistic approach, in order to know the reality fully, now education have very important role, because I believe the very purpose of education is reduce the gap, appearance and reality. There always is a gap, appearance and reality. So education helps to reduce this gap, appearance and reality. And then meantime, another factor I usually used to stress the importance is, in order to see the reality, we must look the reality objectively. Even if you say something positive, which we desirable, which we want, but if we look that goal with attachment, you can't see the reality. Here I want to share, many years ago, in Argentina, one meeting with some religious leader and also some scientist, at least one scientist, one physicist, who I was told, Chilean. At that meeting, he mentioned his scientist, physicist, but then he should not develop attachment towards his own scientific field. That, I think, very important. So now, for example, I'm Buddhist. I have faith towards Buddhism, but I should not attach towards Buddha Dharma. If I develop attachment towards Buddhism, then my mind becomes biased. Through that way, I can't see the value of other religious tradition. So you must be very objective, unbiased. So therefore, in order to keep our mind neutral when we carry research work, now emotions, attachment, hatred, anger, these emotions, the hindrance to develop calm mind. So we have to take pay more attention about emotional world. Usually, we not much pay attention about these emotional world. So that creates problem. So of course, in various different religious traditions, they try to minimize these destructive sort of emotions, such as anger, hatred. So all religion, you see, carry the teaching or practice of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance. You see these things. But we should have also using common sense, and then try to reduce these emotions. That also very possible. So I want to share with you one study. And now for study, according to ancient Indian, also the tradition, the intelligence is the first level, knowledge through learning, through books, through lectures, others through words. That's one level of knowledge. That is not very stable. You learn something and you have the certain concept purely on the basis of other sort of imitation. Then if another person say, no, that's wrong, then your view immediately change or doubt. So the first level of knowledge is very unstable. However, it is acts as a basis. Then further contemplation, analyze by yourself what you learned from other or from books. Then analyze by yourself. Make sure certain point which mentioned by other or book, analyze, further examination. Then you develop second level of knowledge through your own analysis. So that knowledge now much more stronger. Another person say this is wrong, then you will respond, no, I thoroughly investigate, I thoroughly study, this is true. So that kind of conviction. Then third level of sort of knowledge is now not remain on intellectual level understanding, but familiarize. Through familiarization, eventually, you see, you gain some experience. Now, knowledge through experience, now that's really solid. So, that I want to share about knowledge is concerned. Then, the calm mind. Here, I feel, you see, two methods. One method, whenever we look certain thing, we must look more holistic way. That means you can't see the whole picture through one dimension. We must look from different angles or 6 dimensions, like that. Then you get the clearer picture about the reality. And then also our sort of, the mental level ups and downs usually happen when we see some positive things or negative thing. Negative things, see negative thing almost absolute, then too much ups and downs. And positive thing, and also almost like absolute. Again, you see, the much disturbances. So the reality, it is impossible. Just one single event full of positive or full of negative. No. Any event, relative. So compare certain other factor. Compare this positive. Compare this negative. Everything like that. So more holistic view, then you see you can see the different aspect of the reality that our mind becoming more balanced. This is one thing. And then another thing is warm-heartedness. Usually, warm-heartedness, of course, or compassion, as I mentioned earlier, all major religious tradition usually carry same message. But essentially, the affection is a biological factor, not come through religious faith. Look, animals, those animals or those mammals or even birds, you see, those youngsters' survival entirely depend on mother's care. This affection come as a biological factor. From mother's side, tremendous sort of affection. So that affection bring energy, take care, even the willingness of sacrifice her own life for the sake of youngster. So there is sort of, unless so that kind of the strong emotion, the energy will not come. So that emotion come from biological factor. It is necessary. And child side or youngster side also, as soon as born, without reason, without sort of knowledge, who is that person? But biologically, sort of entirely depend on that person. So long that person carry cuddly, at the physical touch, the child feel happy, safe. As soon as separate, feel unhappy. So these are biological factor. So affection come from biological factor that take as a seed. Then with human intelligence, with the help of human intelligence, that biological factors of affection then can enrich, strengthening. So now here differences. The first level of affection, compassion, is biased and something like action-oriented or oriented towards others' attitude. So biased. It cannot extend to so-called our enemy, whose attitude towards you is negative, harming on you. On that level, since that biased biological sort of affection is action-oriented, so the action which negative towards you, you cannot extend your feeling of love and compassion towards that. Then through training, through help of human intelligence, analyze pros and cons are there. Pros and cons about affection, about hatred, about jealousy. Then you develop some kind of conviction, warm-heartedness, altruistic attitude is immense benefit to myself, to the family, to the community, and even my health. Through analysis, and with help of human intelligence, we can promote that biased, limited compassion, uplift unbiased, not action-oriented, but oriented to the being itself, or human case, human being themselves. Because now, your enemy, as far as action is concerned, their attitude is concerned, negative towards you. But still, these are human beings, human brothers, sisters, essentially. So part of our community, community which my future depend. So these, even enemy, people who have some negative attitude towards you, these also part of the community which your future depend on them. So, with understanding these things, then keep genuine compassion, genuine sense of concern, of well-being, even your enemy, regardless what their attitude. That is unbiased, genuine compassion. All major religious traditions, you see, teach us that. But without touching religion, using common sense, common experience, and then latest scientific finding, we can develop conviction, these kind of altruistic attitude, infinite altruistic attitude towards others. We can develop that. Some non-believer, the willingness to sacrifice their own life for sake of others. So these are some non-believer, not come through religious faith, but through common sense, like that. So that, I think, we can promote that through education, not through religious teaching, but through awareness, through education. So in modern education, the education system which is using in this country, essentially British introduced. So in the West, when separate education institutions started, then moral ethics side, church take responsibility, and also family values some extent. But now in modern time, the influence from the church reduce, family value also reduce. Then the separate education institution, which originally taking care only brain development, moral ethics side, church and others is taking care. Now later the others influence reduce, so the education institution alone have the responsibility of both, taking care of brain development and taking care of warm-heartedness. So now in Europe and also in America, in Canada, number of sort of educationist people, university, concerned people in different universities, now really showing genuine sort of concern in modern education system. They not adequate pay attention about warm-heartedness. So now here in this country, I think you can, and then here in some different some countries where Judeo-Christian background, and then some of them, you see, believe moral ethics must be based on religious faith. Whereas in this country, the secular ethics there. In fact, India's constitution itself based on secularism. Because of the circumstances of this country, there are so many different religious traditions. So if you see the moral ethics based on religious faith, then next question is what religion? What faith? More complications. So therefore, the ethics without particular religion, you see, there must be ethics without sort of particular religious faith. So that I think really is the useful sort of concept. Otherwise, when I talk in different parts of the world, secular ethics, some of my friends, they have little reservation, the very word of secularism. So I usually explain, or according to India, secularism does not mean disrespect of religion, but rather respect all religions, isn't it? Yeah. So I think India, one advantage now should they promote in education field, education of ethics on according secular basis. So that I want to share with you, so that India, I always say, telling outside world, India, the ancient sort of wisdom, I'm not talking about mystical thing. I simply talking about ahimsa, non-violence. 1,000-year-old is very much sort of, very much in Indian blood. And then with that, the religious harmony, also 1,000 years in this country. So now today, all major world religious tradition established in this country live harmoniously. Occasionally some problem between Hindu and some Muslim, and like that, it's a little problem here and there. That's quite understandable. Over billion human being, sort of, some mischievous people always there. That's understandable. But basically, very peaceful. All different religious traditions live peacefully. The other day, Jodhpur, I met one Romanian. I just used to come across in the hotel. You see, he told me he carries some research work about religious harmony in this country. And he spent some time in a village where all the villagers are Muslim, except 3 Hindu families. He's surprised. Very smooth relations. No threat of these 3 Hindu families from majority of the Muslim community. So he really is surprised. So, and then I also told him, India, as a whole, South India, North India, East, West, they all sort of, at a grassroots level, Hindu families, Muslim family, Christian family, and some Jains, some cases you see a few Buddhists, like that. This is really India's treasure. So this is not newly sort of invented, but last 1,000 years these kept. So ahimsa, non-violence, and religious harmony, these 2 things I consider ancient Indian treasure. So wherever I go, I always talk these 2 things. And I consider myself as a messenger of ancient Indian thought. So I always talk these things. Then meantime, I also talking to my Indian boss. That means India sort of, Indians I consider as my guru. We are Chela. So sometimes I also say talking, we are not only Indian gurus Chela, but also quite a reliable Chela. The reason, last 1,000 years, the Nalanda tradition, in its own home, too much ups and downs. During those periods, your Chela, kept these Nalanda tradition intact. So that shows we are quite reliable Chela. So in any way, as a sort of level of Chela or messenger, I am quite sort of active promoting these things. Now my guru, my boss, must come, should more active regarding promotion of non-violence and religious harmony, particularly in universities. Each student should sort of have clear picture about these, or clear sort of realization of your own 1,000-year-old treasure. Then India, greatest democratic country in population-wise, greatest democratic country, and a very stable nation. So now, I think in early period, like Mahatma Gandhi and those Indian sort of freedom fighters, you see, they eventually spread outside the world about ahimsa, non-violent struggle. Luther King followed Mahatma Gandhi's sort of path, and American civil right. They fought for civil right. They achieved. Now today, even president of that country, one black black American. These are real sort of big change. I was told, I know, that Luther King's wife, she told me, the Luther King Jr. Luther King, Martin Luther King. So much sort of attracted towards Gandhiji's lifestyle. Even he wanted to dress like Mahatma Gandhi. That's a little bit too far, I think. So you see, and then South African first president, after they got democracy, the Nelson Mandela, also you see, attracted about Mahatma Gandhi's non-violent principle. So now, non-violence and religious harmony, I think we Indian should show the rest of the world different religious tradition can live peacefully, can learn each other with mutual respect, mutual learning. I think India can show the rest of the world. So not only in the history, in the past, but even you see in modern time, sometimes different religious name also causing some divisions, some problems. So you, as my boss, my guru, should take more active role in this field. Then meantime, within the country, the caste system and also dowry and some discrimination, male and female and caste, these are maybe part of your tradition but outdated, must change these things. So the people, youth of this country, now you should take more initiative, change some of these drawback.
Moral value-based society. Moral value-based society.
So you must sort of active. That's I think very, very important. Then lastly, sometimes from your chela, little sort of the constructive criticism. Sometimes you a little bit lazy. So you should be more hard work, with full self-confidence, then more work hard. That I want to tell you. So, thank you. Some now questions. Question answer.
Good afternoon, Your Holiness. I'm Avni Jain from Jamalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies. My question to you is, what do you think is the real purpose of life? And is it when a person follows the path of spirituality and social work, does he attain greatest happiness?
Not very clear. What?
What's the purpose of life?
Ka.
What is the purpose of life? Chiche.
Oh.
Ni ba ni the spiritual line to way na. Maybe give a good best.
How can we achieve the happiness? How can we achieve
Purpose of life? I think that's rather mysterious question. I think different answer according different philosophical sort of concept. According those people, those religious tradition, concept of God, creator, then I think you should ask God, what is the purpose of our life? According those non-theistic religion, that is Buddhism, Jainism, and also one part of Sankhyaism, you see, no concept of creator, but self-creation. So law of causality, very much similar to that of Darwinian theory. These three non-theistic religion develop in this country, no other like that. So I believe, purpose of our life, I believe happiness. Simple reason, there no guarantee of good future, but we live on hope for good. If anyone completely lost hope, then that very mental attitude shorten your life. At worst case, suicide may take place. Therefore, we survived here on the basis of hope, something good. So we can say the purpose of our life is happy life. The second part.
Can we have the next question, please?
Spirituality, spiritual line, as I mentioned earlier, you see two levels. One secular level, without religious faith. So now the first line of moral ethics, without touching religion. Now here, the spirituality means taking care of your own mental peace. That's spirituality, kind of one level of spirituality. So naturally, wealth, money, or diamond, ring, will not bring your inner peace. Just out of illusion, you feel, I'm rich, I'm happy. But if you kiss your ring like that, the ring no ability to respond to you affection. Dogs, cats, if you show them kindness, affection, they also have the ability to respond to you affection. So we are living beings. We need affection. Matters no ability to show us affection. So our life, based on material value, which have no ability of affection, is illusion. We are living beings. We must receive constant sort of affection, constantly, from other. Then your life becoming much more meaning, much more happier in deep insight. So therefore, talking about these inner value, that is spirituality. Not talking about next life, not talking about nirvana, moksha, heaven, God, creator. No, simply how to live happily with inner peace. That's the way of spiritual life. I like that. Next question.
The next question, please.
His Highness, my name is Porush. I'm from MET College, and my question is, according to you, which are the most important values which can be inculcated in any individual, and how can we achieve them? We've already talked about education. Which are the other important values which we can inculcate in ourselves, according to you?
In human life, the value in human life, the value is most important to achieve the goal. In that, education is there, but what are the other values?
Now here, basically, we are social animal. Each member of the social animal, their future, their survival depend on the community. Like bees or ants, those social because the animal. They have no religion, no constitution, no government organization, no police force, but they work together. Because of the biological factor. So we also social animal. No matter one single human being, very powerful, but his or her life for survival depend on rest of the community. That's fact. So it is absolutely wrong. The basis of your own future is to look a little bit distant from you. And you must have so close link with the community, which basis of your own future. Here, as the factor which close with the basis of your own sort of happy life, that's sense of concern of well-being of other. That sense of sort of concern really bring together. So that I usually call affectionate attitude, altruistic attitude. Oh, so you see, sense of community, sense of belonging. So that's the ultimate sort of source of our satisfaction. And that one key factor for social animal. So I usually talking that thing. Of course, religious faith is individual business. But these things are entire humanity need, you see, that sort of sense of the well-being of the community like that. Now today, I think in ancient time, each community or each sort of nation or community more or less independent. Now today, global economy, environment issue, and due to many other factors, now entire nearly 7 billion human beings are just one human family, human community. So not only the nation to nation, but also continent to continent, heavily interdependent. So according to that reality, now we must have the concept, whole world is part of me. The century-old sort of concept, we and they. And that sort of concept divided we and they, and on that basis, exploitation, harming, even war. Now today's reality, everybody is part of you, part of me, part of big we, big. Oh, so the concept of war is outdated. So long you have genuine sense of concern of well-being of other, there is no basis of killing, no basis of stealing, no basis of abuse or sexual abuse or rape, and the basis of telling lie, telling sort of deception. All this, so long you have the strong, the strong feeling of concern of well-being of other, and all these negative physical action, verbal action will not, because of that, no room about these negative sort of action. So I feel whether person believe some deeper value or not, in practical level, if person follow these sort of practice out of awareness, through education, we become a really sensible person, and through that way we can build happier world. This is my fundamental sort of belief, like that. Next question. Thank you.
The next question, please.
My name is Murtaza Kothari and I am from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies. Your Holiness, you spoke of peace and social welfare. My question is, how does capitalism relate to social welfare, and what role can capitalism play, especially in the aftermath of the global recession?
Capitalism.
Capitalism, social how about the global recession?
That's a difficult answer, difficult question. You should research, more research work. But me personally, 1954, 55, I spent several months in Peking, at least I think 5-6 months I spent in Peking, and I studied Marxism, socialism. I very much attracted about Marxist economy. In Marxist economy, the emphasis the equal distribution. So that's moral ethics. Whereas capitalism, not talking about equal distribution, but simply making more profit. So I very much attracted about Marxist economy. So at that time, I told Chinese authority, Communist authority, I want to join Chinese Communist Party. So still, as a socio-economy theory is concerned, I'm Marxist. No question, no secret. I always made clear, like that. But then, now today, China, of course, now Marxist genuine socialism no longer there. So now today, they looks as the Chinese Communist Party, a communist party without a communist ideology. So capitalist communist, so something very new. So I'm wondering, Indian communist, I was told some leader of Indian communist, Indian Marxist, their personal life is more bourgeois lifestyle. I heard, I don't know. So, it looks the socialist sort of idea, take care, interest of the majority of the people, and working class people, needy people. It is very right. However, the former Soviet Union, and also before things were being changed, both China and former Soviet Union, economy field stagnation. So capitalism really dynamic sort of forces. That also necessary. So some kind of regulations. I think that's the best. I don't know. When the Eastern European country, after sort of Soviet collapse, and some Eastern European countries, they newly sort of become independence. And my visit in then Czechoslovakia, on the invitation of President Havel, almost the first foreign visitor in that country, as soon as they become sort of a free country, independent. So that time I expressed, now maybe these former Eastern European countries may sort of think more research work, some kind of synthesized sort of system, something from socialism, some capitalism, some kind of newly sort of synthesized sort of system. I express, but nobody take us serious. So they also follow now Western capitalist system. So I don't know. That's my view. But I have no clear sort of answer for your question. So more research work is necessary. Yes, next question.
Next question, please.
His Holiness, I'm Nidisha Shetty from MET College. It's a great honor to have you here. My question to you is, in a world that looks into technological gadgets and social networking, what role do you think art, culture and music play?
In this technological world,
Yes.
what exactly the art, music and the culture will play the role?
Culture, what do you mean? Different aspect of culture.
The individualistic culture of every country. What role do art, culture and music play?
Of course, actually, all this is my talk is some kind of culture of peace, culture of non-violence. Now some, rule of art there. I think that also is the artistic way, painting or some music, some songs. I think I feel something like medium, which can carry certain message. So, I think in modern time, some sort of songs, some musics, and that reach to millions of sort of audiences. Very powerful sort of medium. So that I know. No, I don't think people losing interest about culture. Now just the morning session, after that, one Indian media used to ask me about cricket. Ask me, you said, cricket is those who will win or something.
World Cup cricket, who will win?
So people showing these sort of also the sports. And then I think it's a different sort of also the musics. I think millions of people really showing interest about that. Myself, no interest. Music, no interest. Different sort of sports. I have no interest. Of course, when I was very young, I played ping pong or something, badminton. Now no longer. So, of course, these are, I feel, the important part of our life. And meantime, I also have the feeling, if we too much rely on some satisfaction on music or play, then our inner ability, you see, wasting. We simply, heavily depend on external factors for inner peace. Then so long music and so some kind of picture there, you feel happy. When no longer these things, then you feel boring. So there are other factors without depend on sensorial sort of experiences, but entirely use the mental sort of ability, inner peace. Then, without whether you say there is some external facility or not, you always can be peaceful and can enjoy like that. That I feel. So that's why those people who spend solitude in remote area, they feel very happy. No music, no sort of television, nothing, but through their inner sort of meditation or some different things, you see, get inner sort of immense inner peace. So days, nights, months, you see, go like that way. Of course, the external facilities are very good, but too much relying on these things, not good. That's I feel. Next question.
Next question, please.
Good afternoon, His Holiness. I am Nihar Maekar from Wellington Institute of Management, V School. And my question to you is, in today's world of globalization and technological advancement, should youth of India follow and totally rely upon the Indian traditions as mentioned by you and sir, like the learnings from Mahabharata or Ramayana, or should we combine the best of the Western philosophies as well as Indian philosophies in order to grow and develop?
I have the view the technology now universal mainly originally come from West. Technology provides us physical comfort. India also needs that, and particularly in rural area. I always have the strong feeling the real transformation of India must take place in rural area. Not, you see, there's some buildings, some factories, some modern sort of facilities in Bombay or Hyderabad and Allahabad or Bangalore. Of course, these are national interests. It is important. But real change must take place in rural area. That's very, very important. Recently, I was in Jaipur, or say near Jaipur, Jaipur, or say Barefoot College. They are all really illiterate sort of old village people, mainly mother. You see, they train making solar electricity, like that. So these things are really wonderful. Then also near Nagpur, and many years ago, I visited the Dr. Baba Amde. So these, and also I have used a few occasions to visit some Kerala and also some, I think, Gujarat. There's some people who really working in rural area, in education and some handicraft sort of works. These are really very, very necessary. So basically, India also see more, more development in technology field. The farm system must mechanize, otherwise it's difficult. Population increasing, land cannot extend. So therefore, these things I think very important. Meantime, as I mentioned before, I think Indian civilization, among Egyptian civilization and Chinese civilization, the original Indian civilization is, compare these three civilizations, I think Indian civilization is much more sophisticated about philosophical views, about mind. So these are really treasure of not only India, but a treasure of the world. Must preserve material development, which give us physical comfort, then spiritual development provide us mental comfort. These must combine. So must sort of combine Western sort of technology and modern education and preserve your own 1,000-year-old traditional values must combine. So you have special role and special responsibility. Whatever way I can serve you, I can help you as a chela of your ancient sort of guru, my duty, whatever way. Thank you.
Next question, please.
Good afternoon, Your Holiness. I'm Aditi Agarwal from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies. So the world recently has seen a huge global recession at the hands of a few greedy businessmen, business leaders. So how can ancient wisdom help overcome this shortcoming in our and future business leaders?
The businessmen are dominating the whole world. Then how can we preserve our ancient wisdom before going to the culture? How can we preserve it when the businessmen are dominating the world? How it can be handled?
Business people also come from the society. A society where talks only material value. Then people who come from that kind of society, naturally, just talking about value of matters, materials. So we need some change at the fundamental level. Now in the West, some educationists really sort of questioning about existing education system. And also, you see, among, I think a few decades ago, I noticed among the businessmen, much less number who's showing about value of spirituality or inner peace. Nowadays, more and more people among the business people, and a few occasions they organize, say, my talk about inner values. And also, we notice in America, some big company, because of multi company, they also, you see, they from their profit, some allocation to serve other people.
Philanthropy. Philanthropies.
So, I think some of the Indian sort of big company also now, I think, you see, we will follow, I think. That's also good. You see, everybody, you see, cannot be big businessmen. So there must be some people who really concentrate on the economic field as their profession. Meantime, not forgetting about basic sort of the society's well-being. And particularly, I hope you should pay more attention in rural condition or economic condition in rural area. So I think generally, I think education system, and also I think some sort of media people also have the responsibility, you see, to talk, to inform people, not only money value, but other values. So that these sort of businessmen, because of the business sort of oriented people, they eventually, you see, feel they're also getting sick. They also, you see, getting older. Then finally, they have to go. So money, no matter how billionaire, but all the money remain in bank. They cannot carry. Only their mind, isn't it? So you see, the educator reminds you see, people through sort of the media people, educate them. And meantime, our education system is right from the beginning, from kindergarten, educate about inner values, about, as I mentioned earlier, the secular ethics, from kindergarten up to university level. Then, I think, later part of this 21st century, the humanity's way of thinking may change. So this is my view. So this is everybody's sort of interest. So everybody has some sort of responsibility or ability, make some sort of lead that kind of sort of also the direction, I feel.
Philanthropic. Philanthropic. Philanthropic.
Philanthropy is correct. I don't know that word, I don't know. Yes, thank you.
I can see so many students eager to ask questions, but we have 5 to 7 minutes more to our credit, and therefore this could be either the last or last bus second question, depending upon the time permitting us.
Good afternoon, His Holiness. I am Anvi Kedia from Wellington Institute of Management, that is V School. And my question is, people generally find it difficult to keep a balance between economic growth and environmental preservation. So what is your advice in this regard?
Kasa? Yes, it's a very important sort of question. Taking care about planet is something like taking care of our own home. So, that also education. Mainly, you see, depend on education. I myself, 1959, when I came first India, the first time, no, not first time 1956. So in any way, after sort of more or less permanent sort of residence in this country after 59, at the early period, I have no idea about the importance of ecology. Then only through meeting scientists, ecologists, then I learned, oh, that's very, very important. Everybody's sort of has the responsibility to take care about ecology. So, using nature resources, that's also practical. We have to use that. But meantime, keep in our mind the sort of maximum protection about environment. I noticed in many years ago, one time in Sweden, Stockholm, when I visited there, my friend told me in the river in Stockholm city, no longer fish because of the water polluted. Many industries in riverside. And then later, I think 1 decade or more, another occasion, I was told some fish now reappear because not sort of stop all those factories, but keep continuously, but taking special care about because of the purification of water like that. So there is a way, maintain industry, meantime, more pay attention about cleanse. And then it's a form of West Germany. Also, you see, few occasions I visited some factory. They told me the special sort of arrangement, the big factory, they sort of minimum sort of effect or damage on environment. So there are sort of technology if we pay more attention. So like China and India, now we really need, you see, more expertise. Keep, keep sort of the industry development. Meantime, pay more sort of attention, ecological sort of damage. That I think can be done. This is very, very important. So then another thing, I always telling people, like war, bloodshed, when we saw television, immediately struck on our mind. Oh, how bad, killing, bloodshed. But ecology, not that way. Invisible. But eventually, actually people feel some uncomfortable eyes or more coughing or something like that. Then maybe too late. So therefore, through education, through awareness, you see, it is very, very important to keep ecology. That I think through education, through media, also you see have very, very important sort of role, and in education, like that. Then sometimes I feel, I think in Australia and also in Europe, I noticed some school, some university student, see, weekend, go to rural area and educate the villagers, just to sit together, round, and sort of some volunteer work, some poor family washing their sort of clothes and something, and then share some of the sort of information which they may not know, so share with them. So weekend, just a few hours, not much tiring. So you spend, you see, few moments with them. I think they feel, I'm same community. They also then, because of that feeling, social attachment, and also you can help practical level, and also you see get some sort of deeper awareness. How is the lives going on in these rural areas? And also, now for example, the last week I spent one night in a barefoot college. No shower, no air condition. I spent one night the bath like that. A little bit of a problem, but I really enjoyed life in this area. You really get the feeling we are part of nature. Many birds, many trees, and fresh air. When we spend, you see, in big hotel, you a little bit distance from nature, isn't it? Yeah. So you see, you student or college student, you should spend few hours with these people and chat, mixing with them, some help, some sort of give them some education, information. I think useful. And then also say, sometimes you see, week of peace, week of, tolerance, or week of nonviolence. So during that week, you see more discussion about nonviolence, how to solve through dialogue problems. That kind of, I think, practice. I noticed some Australia, some school, you see, do that. I noticed. And also America, you see, some student, you see, weekend they spend, you see, in rural, comparatively, they are rural area, like that. I think that's good.